What's good, YouTube? SlimTv here to put in a cent or two on this new topic, or I guess relatively old topic. So, as you guys know, Jonathan Majors was recently, I think he was like convicted for something that happened with him and his girlfriend. And you know, I've been kind of keeping up with the story, but now we finally have an interview. This is a blind interview, or a blind reaction. I haven't seen the interview yet. I wanted to wait until I recorded it. But yeah, so let's get right into it. Excuse the pajamas. You know, it's a snow day, so I'm taking it easy today. But let's get into it.
Hollywood's brightest stars, with acclaim for his dramatic performances and a promising future as a Marvel villain. But now actor Jonathan Majors is facing the possibility of up to a year in jail after a conviction on misdemeanor reckless assault and harassment.
And see, before we get into it, I've talked about this before, man. You really have to be careful with who you let around you, especially when you're in a position of power. You know what I'm saying? Because it takes one little thing to just take that all away. But let's continue.
In connection with an altercation involving his then girlfriend. He sat down exclusively with me for his first interview since his arrest, discussing the relationship at the center of the trial, the role that he says race played, and why he didn't take the stand. Why did you decide you wanted to talk now?
Okay, all right. So before we get into it, I'm not trying to judge nobody, but man, why are we coming to an interview with these? What are these parachute jean pants? I mean, I get trying to be different, and I get you're in Hollywood, so you're trying to, you know, so you're trying to, I guess, be different like everyone else in Hollywood. Like, that's another thing about Hollywood I don't like, man. Everybody's trying to be a fashion model. Everybody's trying to set a trend, man. Just wear something normal, dude. What is going on? But my bad. Let's continue.
I felt like it was time. A lot has happened in my personal life, in my career, in the culture, and conversely, the impact of this. It's about responsibility and coming forward and being brave and giving my part of the story.
In an ABC News exclusive, actor Jonathan Majors sat down with me in his first interview since a jury handed down a guilty verdict for reckless harassment, a misdemeanor, and a violation of harassment in the second degree.
You know, I haven't seen my daughter in a long time.
Wow.
You know, and a lot of it has to do with this situation. It all has to do with this situation, and she needs to see this, and the hard things need to be done. But it's been hard. You know, everything's kind of gone away.
The 34-year-old actor was a rising star.
This is our family story.
Known for his roles in HBO's Lovecraft Country, Creed 3.
I'm coming for everything.
And Marvel productions like last year's Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania.
You're an interesting man.
I just want to put that out there. Put this out there. That movie was not that good. I didn't really like it. I liked Creed 3. I haven't seen Lovecraft, and I don't think I will. It doesn't seem like my cup of tea. But Creed 3 was really good. But yeah, this, I don't know, man. It just felt like Marvel. I don't even know what to say. Marvel has just gone downhill real bad. Like, this movie was really just Star Wars, except Marvel. Like, you just have to watch it, though. Anyway.
And it was on that movie set back in 2021 where he met 30-year-old British dancer Grace Jabari. The pair dated until March of 2023.
Okay, time out. British dancer. Okay, we all know what dancer means. I mean, the first thing that I think of when I hear dancer, I mean, she could literally be a dancer or she could be a stripper. I'm just gonna keep it blunt with you guys. So I don't advise anybody to date a potential stripper. Now, I could be wrong. You know, but that's what I'm getting so far. Because they always say dancer, but it's like, at this point, you don't really know what it means because they use dancer to sugarcoat stripper. Anyway.
When Majors called 911 the day after a fight that was caught on surveillance video.
What happened exactly? Do you know?
No, I don't know. But she's unconscious. She's my ex-partner. We broke up. I came back. She sent me text messages insinuating this much. I stayed in a hotel last night. I came home this morning.
Police found Jabari on the closet floor of their apartment. Majors was arrested by New York City police, accused by Jabari of assault, strangulation, and harassment, convicted last month, but acquitted of 1 count of assault and 1 count of aggravated harassment, meaning the jury didn't believe he assaulted her intentionally.
Your reaction
What?
to
Okay, I don't understand how you can not assault someone intentionally. Now I get maybe like you bump into somebody or and they fall, or maybe I don't know. Let's say you're walking your dog and then the leash accidentally trips somebody because your dog starts trying to run away. Okay, I get that, right? But how do you accidentally assault somebody? And then he said he came home and she was unconscious, or what? Okay, I'm sorry. We have to go back. Let's go back real quick. I just want to analyze this.
My ex-partner, we broke up. I came back. She sent me text messages insinuating this much.
Okay, so before all of that, she said that she was unconscious. We broke up. I came back. So only 2 things go through my mind right now. Either she staged it and she did that on purpose, or something happened in between that he's not telling. Maybe they broke up. A little bit of fighting happened. He left, and maybe he didn't realize that he did something to her. I don't know, man. It's so confusing.
I stayed in a hotel last night. I came home this morning.
Police found Jabari on the closet floor of their apartment. Majors was arrested by New York City police, accused by Jabari of assault, strangulation, and
Okay, wait. No, we have to go back. I'm not trying to do too much, guys.
By
But
New York City police, accused by Jabari of assault, strangulation.
Is it me? Okay, so usually if there's like strangulation, it'll be red around the neck or even purple from bruises, but I'm not. This looks like a clear piece of paper, pun intended. But I'm not, it's red down here, but she could just be nervous. I mean, I don't know. This isn't convincing though. This isn't like, I'm not seeing anything that say, hey, she's been hurt.
And harassment, convicted last month, but acquitted of 1 count of assault and 1 count of
Okay, so a broken finger that she could have easily done. I don't know.
aggravated harassment, meaning the jury.
A cut behind the ear. I mean, how does that even happen? I don't know. This whole thing is too confusing to me. But I'm gonna just watch it.
your reaction to that verdict?
Shock. I was absolutely shocked, and afraid. I'm standing there, and the verdict comes down. I say, how is that possible? Based off the evidence, based off the prosecution's evidence, let alone our evidence. How is that possible?
After the verdict, in a statement, Jabaris' attorney wrote in part, "Justice was finally served today, proving that the truth can prevail even in the face of power. Grace did not choose to be in this situation. Grace has been publicly attacked as a result of her courage to testify to the truth, but her unwavering resolve to see this case through to the end was born out of her desire to give other survivors similar courage when justice requires."
The prosecution has described your relationship with Grace Jabari as tumultuous and abusive. How would you describe that 2-year relationship?
I loved Grace. Our relationship was, it was not healthy, and that began to reveal itself over time. But there was...
Okay, so if it's not healthy, why are you still there? See, when somebody is sick to a point to where they know that they need help, they go to a doctor. Or they stay in bed for a couple of days, but they do something to remedy the situation. If you know that the situation is not good, why are you still there? See, this is what I'm talking about. Guys, this sounds selfish. This sounds, some will even say, I wouldn't say narcissistic, but you have to put yourself first. You have to. If you're not in a good situation, find a way to escape that situation or to remedy the situation to your benefit. Especially, see, a lot of you guys, man, you guys are willing to risk everything over a woman. Or even, if you're a woman watching this, some of y'all will risk everything over a dude that's no good for you. And you'll keep going back like a dog to his own vomit. No. leave something that is not good for you. If you bite into an apple and it's soft, and then when you bite into it, you see that it's rotten in it, are you going to swallow that apple, or are you going to spit it out? As soon as you feel that texture hit your mouth, it's like, nah, this ain't good. You spit it out. It's the same thing with this. If something's not good for you, you spit it out. You get rid of it. I mean, you see it everywhere in nature. Why is it so hard for you guys? I know emotions get involved and you want to make things work, but not everything is meant to work. Let's continue.
No abuse.
In court, Jabari claims she sustained head injuries, but never said how she received them.
See?
Entered into evidence these partially redacted text
Oh, my bad.
messages from
It's just fake, and you have, I fear you have no perspective of what could happen if you ask to go to the hospital. They will ask you questions, and as I don't think you actually protect us, it could lead to an investigation, even if you do lie and they suspect something. I will tell the doctor I bumped my head if I go. I'm going to give it one more day, but I can't sleep and I need some stronger painkillers, that's all. Why would I want to tell them what really happened when it's clear I want to be with you? I feel like you want to be together as in to not embarrass yourself for everything you've said to your friends and family. Last night I considered killing myself versus coming home.
September of 2022. Majors writes, "It's just fake, and I fear you have no perspective of what could happen if you go to the hospital. They will ask you questions, and as I don't think you actually protect us, it could lead to an investigation, even if you do lie and they suspect."
It's just fake. Guys, this is real weird to me. Here's the thing, guys. I'm not a conspiracy theorist necessarily, but a lot of the things in Hollywood I know are fake. It's all smoke and mirrors. You really don't know what's going on, and they're gonna give you the story that they want to give you, but they're not gonna give you the real, unadulterated truth. Which is why, when Cat Williams came out with that interview, everybody was jumping on it, because I don't even think he told the 100% truth, because he was like, man, I read 3,000 books between the ages of 3 and 4, or whatever the heck he said, and it's just like, bro, I don't necessarily believe some of that. Some of that was, something to big himself up. But what he did expose is that people have a hunger for truth, and he also exposed that Hollywood does not operate in truth. Those are two things that he exposed. So, I'm taking all of this with a grain of salt. It's all sketchy to me.
Something. Jabari responds in part, "I will tell the doctor I bumped my head if I go. I'm going to give it one more day, but I can't sleep and I need some stronger painkillers. That's all. Why would I want to tell them what really happened when it's clear I want to be with you?"
This is literally a nightmare. I don't know what happened. I don't know what injuries you're talking about.
The July incident, 2022, where she says you started throwing things, including a candle. Tell us what happened there.
We were in an argument. I was on the other side of the room, away from her, as I think she testified. And by my bedside table, I did a sweep, and I knocked over my candles. I completely lost my temper in that moment and threw it all on the ground. What she also said is that afterwards I wept and cried in the corner and said, "I'm sorry," and this. And I was, and I am.
The prosecution said you allegedly wrote, "I'm a monster, a horrible man not capable of love. I'm killing myself soon. I've already put things in motion."
What?
Man,
Okay, we're going back. We're going
So
back.
And by my bedside table from her, I was on the other side of the room, away from her, as I think she testified. And by my bedside table, I did a sweep, and I knocked over my candles. I completely lost my temper in that moment and threw it all on the ground. What she also said is that afterwards I wept and cried in the corner and said, "I'm sorry," and this.
So what does this have to do with him hitting her or anything of that nature? I'm so confused. Like, what?
And I was, and I am.
The prosecution said you allegedly wrote, "I'm a monster, a horrible man not capable of love. I'm killing myself soon. I've already put things in motion." Were you suicidal?
I've been diagnosed with severe depression, and I'm taking the steps needed to alleviate, some of those symptoms, ideations of removing myself from situations permanently. is a thought that I've had, since I was a kid.
It all came to a head in March of last year when Jabari and Majors got into a fight, much of it captured on surveillance video and used as evidence in the trial. Jabari testified that it all began when Majors received a text from another woman. He says it read, "Oh, how I wish to be kissing you."
So let's go back to March 25th for a moment. You and then girlfriend Grace Jabari are in the backseat of a chauffeured car. She sees a text from another woman. Things seem to spiral from there.
Yeah.
What happened next?
Yeah, the text from another woman. Again, I said at the beginning, I did that. I did that. I cop to it. I show her, right? It's in my hand. She grabs it. We scuffle for the phone. I pull the phone back. I receive my injuries. I open the door, I step out. She comes. Then one of the biggest mistakes of my life. I pick her up. I put her back in the car. I'm trying to get rid of her. I'm trying to get away from her. As the video shows, Everything calms. We get out. We walk across the street. I escort her across the street. The moment we get across the street, she grabs me. She goes for the phone. I release. I get free of her and I run.
For blocks?
Yeah, for blocks.
Surveillance video also shows Jabari talking.
So, he was trying to get away from the situation, which is smart. Now, him putting his hands on her and trying to put her back in the car, that's 50-50 to me. Would I do something like that? It depends. It depends. I don't know it depends on how rough he was with it though, but at the end of the day, guys, you have to be honest about what you're doing, okay? So, like, if you have other women, let the women in your life know that, so then that way they can leave if they want to leave. It's that simple. Give them a choice to leave if they don't want to be a part of that lifestyle. It's like, come on, dude. You're a movie star. Of course, other women are going to be wanting to get with you, this and that, but at least be honest with it. At least that, because then it eliminates all that, and then if she still wants to freak out about it, then she can just go kick rocks.
To 3 strangers. She testified they offered to get her home. One of the bystanders can be seen speaking to Majors, who gestures for Jabari to get back into the car. He eventually leaves without her and goes to a hotel for the night. Jabari leaves with the bystanders.
She says inside the car, you hit her in the face,
Yeah.
twist her arm behind her back, fracture her middle finger.
Yeah, that did not happen.
I didn't see all that. No, he didn't do all that. I don't want to keep pausing it and going back and forth, but if you go back and look, he just lifted her up, put her in the car. He tried once, he tried twice, and then he tried to dip. If you actually hurt her before any of that, like bro, there was no fractures on her neck. He didn't grab her neck. He didn't try and grab her by the neck and shove her back in the car. He didn't do any of that. So I'm telling you guys, this is all acting. This is all a bunch of nonsense.
What happened?
She went to grab the phone. I held the phone. I pulled the phone back. She came on top of me, squeezed my face, slapped me. That's all I remember.
So she ends up with a 1-inch cut behind her ear.
Laceration, yes, ma'am.
Fractured finger.
Yeah.
How did those injuries come about?
I wish to God I knew.
She probably did it to himself.
That would give clarity. Some type of
Those two things. She probably did that to herself. If I'm being honest, like, I really don't like when you watch the video. You don't. There was not enough time for him to like grab fingers and pull, because then she would have been in the car. Like, guys, I'm not trying to sound like, but women are very theatrical. If I'm just being, especially if you hurt them. Because I have a sister, so when I was a kid, I think I pushed her on accident and she fell and she was crying for hours and I got in trouble. But that's a whole different story, maybe for a personal video. Regardless, when you hurt a woman, and again, I've done it on accident. I don't hurt women on purpose. I just realized how that came off. But regardless, if you ever accidentally hurt a woman in particular, it'll become a bunch of theatrics if she's, mad at you for something else as well, So I think that she did it to herself.
About it.
But you're confident you didn't.
I have no question.
what's interesting about the jury's verdict, it's so nuanced because they're saying you didn't intend
Right.
Yeah,
to injure her.
it doesn't make any sense.
But the result of your recklessness injured her.
Right.
Were you reckless?
I was reckless with her heart,
Not with her body,
not with her body.
but never hit a woman.
Never hit a woman. I've never, my hands have never struck a woman.
I can't get over those pants.
Ever. When the actual testimony came, the driver said, she did everything, meaning Grace. He did nothing, referring to myself.
Majors
That's all you
claims
need.
Jabari attacked him, ripping his coat, scratching his face and arm. These are photos he says are of his injuries, but were deemed inadmissible in court.
My injuries were, I had a scratch on my hand, you know, from clawing for the phone, and I had a gash on my, at the time I had a beard. Under my beard I had essentially a fingernail scratch on my cheek from pressure, you know.
You chose not to take the witness stand. Why?
Yes, ma'am. The driver.
You thought that was compelling enough. He had said enough.
Well, not just the driver, you know. She was doing everything, he was doing nothing. Well, that's what I was going to say.
Okay, look, that's cool and all, but you cannot depend on other people to stick up for you, man. You have to have what it takes to stick up for yourself. No one in this world is going to save you. I've said this in plenty of my videos. No one is going to save you. You have to take control. I don't care what the driver said. If you and the driver say the exact same thing, that just helps your case even more. But you need to come out and why would you not take the witness stand for your case? You just sitting there twiddling your thumbs waiting for the jury. This is what I'm saying, man. All of this is coming off as some type of weird act. Because it's all like, it's like they're just piecing together pieces of this story that they're grabbing out of their bag. Everything was recorded and everything. It's like, oh no, man, I'm not buying this one bit. I'm not buying it one bit.
Mr. Majors, did you see any injuries on her? No, I didn't. Clinical experts, the detective I spoke to, all who testified before I did. But after all of that, what was I going to add?
Jonathan, how do you feel?
Your perspective as the main, like, here's how I see it. Okay, I did a video, you know, you're the main character of your own life, but like when you're in a trial, there's two main characters, the defendant and the plaintiff, I believe. If I'm wrong, correct me in the comments, but regardless, you know, so you need to add your perspective. You're the one looking at it from your view. From your first person view, you need to add your perspective along with the perspectives of other people to make a full collaborative story. A convincing one at that.
During the trial, an audio recording was presented in court by the prosecution of Jonathan Majors and Grace Jabari during an argument.
How dare you come home drunk and disturb the peace of our house? Coretta Scott King. You know who that is? That's Martin Luther King's wife. Michelle Obama. Barack Obama's wife. My temper, my shit, my travel, blah, all that said, right? And I'm not saying I'm a great man. A great man. I am doing great things, not just for me, but for my culture and for the world. That is actually the position I'm in. The woman that supports me, that I support, that needs to be a great woman.
There are some who question, especially in the black community, as you're probably well aware, that people were saying, well, why was he telling this woman to be like Coretta Scott King and Michelle Obama? Give us like the context of. Okay,
so before he answers that, I know what he was going for. He was saying, because, you know, there's a saying behind every great man is a great woman, which, you know, is true to an expense. Like, he was just saying from his culture, you know, these are the great women from my culture. He's not saying, you know, I want you to be just like them, but he's saying that I need a caliber of woman like that. That's all he's saying.
Of the conversation.
It was me trying to give an analogy of what it is I'm aspiring to be. You know, these great men, Martin, President Obama, in trying to give a reference point to that. I was attempting, and I did a terrible job at it, apparently. I was attempting to...
I mean, I don't really think that necessarily. Some people, they like to make everything a problem. I think he did, you know, he said what he wanted to say. So, but regardless, man, I just think that this whole thing is an act. And I was about to say something else, but I forgot. Oh, well.
Motivate, to enlighten, to give perspective as into what it is I was hoping to get out of the relationship. I think that...
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I was about to say the confidence that he exuded while he was saying, I'm a great man, that doesn't sound like a man who's depressed to me, you know? I'm just being honest. Now, I don't know what he's going through personally, but he didn't sound depressed. And people can put up facades and, you know, act like they're something that they're not. But anyway.
That's fair.
In her closing argument, your attorney said that your greatest fear of being a black man in America calling 911 came true, suggesting that race was a part of this. Do you feel that race is a part of this?
I mean, yeah, I mean, of course it is, you know, like, without question. I mean, that quote-unquote guilty verdict, you know, well, guilty verdict, no quote-unquote, you know, like, you might as well put that on my birth certificate.
You think a white man facing the same allegations would have been arrested, charged, convicted?
I'll take it further. If you watch those videos and you reverse that and you saw a black man chasing a young white girl down the street, screaming and crying, that man is going to be shot and killed in the streets of New York City. That black man will feel that.
Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg's office responded saying in part that they do their speaking in court. Jabaris Attorney responded to this interview saying it is not at all surprising that Mr. Majors continues to take no accountability for his actions. His denigration of our jury system is not dissimilar from the above-the-law attitude that he has maintained throughout this legal process. The timing of these new statements demonstrates a clear lack of remorse for the actions for which he was found guilty and should make the sentencing decisions fairly easy for the court. Mr. Jabari will continue to speak the truth and seek justice in the appropriate forums in a continued effort to respect our legal process.
Grace, as you know, was arrested and charged for assault, but will not face prosecution.
Right.
You have thoughts on that?
That's hurtful. That's really hurtful. And why is it hurtful? Because, again, I know what happened. Movies don't matter. Work don't matter. Yale education doesn't matter. In that moment, what I felt was, oh, I'm nothing.
Throughout the trial, Major's girlfriend, actress Megan Good, was right by his side. She was also present for our conversation.
You've mentioned Megan a few times.
Yeah. I'm gonna say this, man. Why is he... well, I mean, he's just rotating through girlfriends. Like, to me, man, that's something that, you know, you can't just make anybody your girlfriend. That's all I'm saying. You know, I think it should take some time until you allow someone to be your girlfriend, or for women, you know, for you to allow some dude to be your boyfriend. Like, you really have to get to know these people. I feel like he should have learned it from the first time. I don't know how long him and the other chick were together. I said 2 years, but I don't know how soon he made him their girlfriend. But obviously that didn't work out for him. Why is he just jumping back into the pool? I think he should take some time to himself to really reflect and understand what he did wrong, so that he can then, you know, improve upon that, so he can avoid a situation like this. Because he is in a position where, you know, he has money, he has fame, he's well known, and as we're seeing right now, all that could be taken away from him and more. He said he hasn't seen his daughter since this happened, which is sad. But at the same time, I understand that this can also just be an act, and, you know, I'll probably get more into that when the video ends. But let's continue.
You've seen her right by your side, going in and out of court throughout the whole trial.
Yeah.
How would you describe your relationship?
It's a miracle. She's an angel. She's held me down like like a Coretta. You know, I'm so blessed to have her. You know, the relationship is still fresh, but you know.
Yeah, he just puppy love.
Yeah.
The one.
I hope she just stick with me.
Majors' career as a rising Hollywood actor is now in limbo. Future appearances playing Kang the Conqueror in the Marvel Cinematic Universe have been scrapped.
You hear the verdict
Yeah.
the same day Marvel drops you. Your reaction?
Same hour. Same half hour, I think. It's like the world stopped. You know, it's like you work so hard for things, and then, you know, it's done, you know? And in that same breath, I thought, man, that was cool.
How so?
I was a supervillain, you know? And I got to play multiple characters, you know, with a group of people that really cared nothing about anything else except making really cool movies and giving their actors whatever they need to tell those stories. And I'm so proud of it.
You think you'll ever work in Hollywood again?
Yeah. I pray I do. But it's God's plan and God's timing.
For those who say, look, he's convicted at this point, what would you say? I mean, do you deserve a second chance?
Well, I think I do. I think I do. I hope other people think that.
Majors is set to be sentenced next month, but says he and his legal team plan to appeal.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking.
Okay, so overall, I think that was a good interview. Like I said, it was choppy. I'm glad they showed that video of them running away and stuff, though, because it really showed that he was really trying to get away from the situation. And overall, I think the verdict was a bunch of nonsense. I mean, like I said, I think it's an act. I know in Hollywood, you know, sometimes they make their actors do certain things to show that they can take their power away, just to bring them back later and make them seem greater, or give them a greater role because they were willing to sacrifice certain things in order to gain higher authority in Hollywood. So that's just my opinion, though. Let me know what you guys think. Like, subscribe, share, and comment. Love you guys. Peace.